PC Paul. I've been a police officer here for 16 years and in January I reverted to Islam. Alhamdulillah, I'm very happy. Assalamu alaikum brother, how are you?
Amid the wave of secularization and the declining interest in religion across Europe, there is one country that is unexpectedly experiencing a spiritual awakening. A nation once known for its grand churches and Christian traditions is now witnessing a very different scene. Mosques are filled with worshipers, while churches are slowly being abandoned. Yes, this is England, the land of Queen Elizabeth, which is now gradually transforming into a more Islamic society. Did you know that over the past decade, the UK has experienced a remarkable phenomenon? Churches are growing empty, the number of Christians is declining, while the number of converts to Islam continues to rise. It is estimated that around 5,000 people embrace Islam in the country every year. In fact, the city of London is now dubbed the most religious city. So, what are the facts behind this? Let's explore together. But before we begin, if you'd like to request a discussion on the development of Islam in another country, feel free to leave a comment below. In 2019, the growth of the Muslim population in the UK reached its highest record in history. At that time, the Muslim population reached 3.2 million people. According to The Sun, in some areas of London, nearly 50% of the residents are Muslim. Based on an analysis by the Office for National Statistics, if this trend continues, the UK could be dominated by a Muslim population within the next 10 years. For comparison, 2011, 2.7 million Muslims. 2019, 3.2 million Muslims. 2022, 3.9 million Muslims. 2024, 4.1 million Muslims. This means that in less than 15 years, the number of Muslims has nearly doubled, according to calculations by the Pew Research Center. Quoted from SaudiGazette.com in an article titled, "Britain Becoming More Islamic, Mosques Full, Churches Empty," it is stated that the face of Britain is becoming increasingly Islamic. Hundreds of official Sharia courts are now operating in London, and hundreds of new mosques have been built across the country. There are reportedly 423 new mosques in London alone, most of which are filled to capacity during prayer times. In contrast, many churches are now empty and lack congregants. For example, St. George's Church in East London, which has a capacity of 1,230 people, was only attended by 12 worshippers during the Eucharist celebration. Meanwhile, St. Mary's Church, with a capacity of 1,000 people, was attended by only 20 congregants. Before we move on to London, now dubbed the religious city, let's take a look back at the history of Islam's arrival in Britain. Islam first entered Britain in the 18th century, brought by sailors from the Bengal region of India. However, the presence of Muslims had already begun to be seen as early as the 16th century during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. At that time, as England was shunned by the Catholic Church of Europe, Queen Elizabeth established trade and political relations with several Islamic nations, such as Morocco, the Ottoman Caliphate, and the Persian Empire. Over time, Muslim diplomats, merchants, musicians, and translators came and settled in London. Then between the 18th and 19th centuries, waves of Muslim immigrants from South Asia, especially from Pakistan, India, and Bangladesh, further strengthened the presence of Islam on British soil. Today, we are witnessing how several churches have been converted into mosques. For example, the Clayton Heights Methodist Church, built in 1870, was closed in 2022 and transformed into a mosque. Hyde United Church was turned into Medina Mosque. St. Peter's Church was also converted into Medina Mosque after being purchased by the Muslim community. What's equally inspiring is the contribution of the Indonesian Muslim community. In the Neasden area of North London, Indonesian residents purchased a former church and transformed it into the Indonesian Islamic Center. The building, worth 27.2 billion rupiah, was officially inaugurated as a mosque on December 4, 2022. This mosque has become a hub for religious activities, moderate Islamic outreach, and also strengthens religious diplomacy between Indonesia and the United Kingdom. However, the transformation of churches into mosques has certainly sparked both support and opposition. Some see it as a loss of historical value, but we cannot ignore the reality that the number of Christians in the UK continues to decline. According to the 2021 census, the number of Christians in England dropped below 50% for the first time in history. In 2011, 59.3%. In 2021, only 46.2%. Meanwhile, the Muslim population rose to 6.5% of the total population. Today, London is known as the most religious city in the UK. This became even more evident when Sadiq Khan, a Muslim, was elected as the mayor of London. He made history as the first Muslim mayor in Western countries and was even elected for 3 consecutive terms. Sadiq Khan is known as a human rights lawyer and an advocate against discrimination. He has become a symbol of London's diversity, liberalism, and cosmopolitan spirit. Muslim life in London is now rich and vibrant. Mosques like the London Central Mosque are always bustling with worshippers. Social, cultural, and religious outreach activities continue to grow. During Ramadan, the city transforms into a spiritual atmosphere. Mosques are packed and restaurants stay open until midnight. All of this proves that Islam in the UK is not just present, but thriving and contributing. This is why many refer to London as the most religious city in Europe. May this information broaden our understanding and strengthen our faith. Don't forget to leave a comment and like this video if you'd like us to discuss the growth of Islam in other countries. Aaliyah Rayan is a woman from the UK who decided to embrace Islam in 1999. Her decision to become a Muslim was not easy, as she had to face various challenges, including rejection from her own family. However, her determination in seeking truth and spiritual peace led her to Islam, and since then, she has become an active figure in Dawah and founded an organization to support other converts. Aaliyah was born and raised in a predominantly Muslim environment. Although she came from a non-Muslim family, she often interacted with her Muslim friends and neighbors. From a young age, she showed an interest in Islam, even though she didn't yet fully understand its teachings. One of the most memorable moments in her life occurred when she was around 8 years old. At that time, she saw a Muslim neighbor performing prayer in a simple mosque near her house. That scene made her curious, especially because of the sense of tranquility and devotion radiating from the act of worship. Her interest grew stronger when she attended the funeral of a Muslim classmate. On that occasion, she observed how Islam teaches serenity and patience in facing death. Unlike the traditions of her own religion, she felt that there was something more peaceful in Islam's teachings about life after death. As she entered adolescence, Aaliyah began to question many things about life and the purpose of human existence. She felt a spiritual emptiness that could not be filled by the religion she was born into. Her search for the meaning of life led her to study Islam more deeply, especially as she observed how her Muslim friends lived their lives with calmness and conviction. Aaliyah started reading books about Islam and comparing them with the teachings of other religions. The more she learned, the more she felt that Islam provided logical and satisfying answers about life, God, and humanity. However, her desire to embrace Islam was not a decision that could be made lightly. She was aware that her choice would come with many obstacles, especially from her family, who did not support the change. Eventually, after years of searching and reflection, Aaliyah decided to say the Shahada and become a Muslim. She did it with full conviction, even though she knew the path ahead would not be easy. Upon embracing Islam, the first reaction she received from her family was rejection. Her mother was very angry and disappointed, even refusing to speak to her for a time. Her family felt she had betrayed their traditions, and many tried to convince her to return to her former religion. However, Aaliyah remained steadfast in her decision. She tried to explain to her family that Islam had given her the peace she had been searching for. Though difficult, she continued to practice her faith with confidence, including wearing the hijab and striving to live according to Islamic teachings. As a convert, Aaliyah faced many challenges. Besides rejection from her family, she also struggled to adapt to life as a Muslim. She had to learn how to pray, fast, understand the Quran, and respond to many questions from those around her. Additionally, she experienced discrimination and prejudice from people who misunderstood Islam. Some thought she had been influenced by propaganda or that her decision was just a phase. However, none of this shook her faith. On the contrary, these challenges only strengthened her belief that she had chosen the right path. After living as a Muslim for several years, Aaliyah realized that many other converts face similar challenges. Many lack support from family or community, leaving them feeling isolated and struggling to consistently practice Islam. In 2010, Aaliyah founded Solace UK, a charity organization aimed at helping female converts who experience difficulties after embracing Islam. The organization provides guidance, emotional support, and various programs to help converts adjust to their new lives as Muslims. Through Solace UK, Aaliyah and her team have helped thousands of female converts who face various challenges, from family rejection to social pressure. The organization has become a refuge for those who feel alone and need support in their spiritual journey. In addition to her work with Solace UK, Aaliyah is also involved in various dawah activities, both directly and through social media. She often shares her experiences and offers motivation to those seeking a deeper understanding of Islam. In 2023, she published a book titled Ramadan Reflections, which became a Sunday Times bestseller. The book offers deep spiritual reflections on the experience of Ramadan and how one can strengthen their relationship with Allah. The success of her book shows that many people are drawn to the spiritual messages she shares. Aaliyah continues to use her platform to spread the teachings of Islam in a gentle and compassionate way. The story of Aaliyah Rayan is a powerful example of how Islam can bring someone peace and true happiness, even when faced with great challenges. From a seeker of truth who faced family rejection to the founder of an organization that supports thousands of converts, her life journey is proof that faith and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. Through Solace UK and her work, Aaliyah continues to inspire many people to draw closer to Allah and discover the true meaning of life. Her journey teaches that embracing Islam is not just about changing beliefs, but about finding inner peace and becoming a better person. Guidance can come at any time, to anyone, in the most unexpected places. Sometimes it arrives through hardship, sometimes through a single sentence that touches the heart, or through an unplanned encounter. But once it knocks, life will never be the same. Just like what happened to a young woman from England, a beautiful woman of Jamaican English descent who once called herself an atheist. She lived in darkness, searching for meaning in life, until Allah showed her the way home. Her name is Aisha Mercedes. Aisha was born in London to a mixed-race family, her mother an English Catholic, her father Jamaican. But religion was never present in her household. There were no prayers, no church, no spirituality, only emptiness. And from a young age, Aisha learned to live with it. At the age of 12, she moved to Essex, away from her father who suffered from paranoid schizophrenia, a figure she feared yet still missed. Life was never easy. At school, she was the only dark-skinned girl. Every day she endured racist stares, mocking words, and a constant feeling of not belonging. She felt like she had no place in the world. In her confusion, Aisha began to hate herself. She even wished she had been born white. She blamed her own identity. She lost her sense of self. It reached a point where she considered ending her life. The world felt too heavy, and Aisha was on the verge of giving up. But her life began to shift when she discovered rap music, street music that became her escape. Through it, she met a Muslim rapper. This man didn't just talk about music, but also about Islam. "I've been talking to you for a long time," he once said, "but your heart was closed." Aisha ignored him. One day, a shop owner gave her a Quran. "Take it," he said, Ask Allah. Aisha accepted it but left it untouched, sitting in a dusty corner of her room until the night everything changed. She received a phone call. Her father had been stabbed 8 times, robbed and left bleeding. When Aisha arrived at his flat in London, police tape surrounded the building. She wasn't allowed in. She called his phone. A stranger picked up. "This is your father's phone," he said. Her heart shattered. In shock and sorrow, Aisha returned to Essex. She cried, broken, and for some reason that night she picked up the Quran. She opened it. She prayed, "Ya Allah, take away this pain." And in that moment, for the first time, she felt something. A warm sensation crawling gently from her feet to her chest. It calmed her. It soothed her troubled heart. Aisha stopped crying. In the silence of the night, she felt like a gentle voice whispered, "Don't be afraid. I am here." It was the first time she had ever prayed to Allah. The days that followed brought her closer to the truth. A friend told her about the punishment of the grave, not even about hellfire, just the torment in the narrow darkness of a grave. Aisha was terrified. She realized she could die and she wasn't ready. Her friend then took her to a hijab shop on Green Street. She tried on a hijab, looked in the mirror, and beneath that simple fabric, she found a peace she had never felt before. Not long after, she visited a mosque. Her friend went inside to pray. Aisha waited outside, but her heart was restless. She prayed again, "Ya Allah, let me become a Muslim." When her friend came out, she said, "If you want to say your Shahada, we can do it now." With a heart full of newfound conviction, Aisha entered the mosque. She sat down. They asked if anyone was forcing her. "No," she said, "I believe. I'm here on my own." And on the cold but peaceful floor of that mosque, she declared the testimony of faith. Tears fell, not from sorrow, but from the relief of finally finding what she had always searched for. A place to belong, a sense of safety, the true love of the Creator. Aisha started learning how to pray through YouTube. She sent voice notes of herself reciting Al-Fatiha to her friend for correction. Every sujood was a sujood of gratitude. She knew Allah had chosen her, brought her back to life from darkness. Wearing modest clothes, putting on the hijab, leaving behind her old lifestyle, none of it was easy, but she was certain. She knew this path was difficult, but she also knew it was the right one. She used to think Islam oppressed women. Now she knows. Islam honors women. It gave her dignity, purpose, direction. Today, Aisha Mercedes lives for one goal: to seek Allah's pleasure and earn His paradise. Guidance isn't reserved for the perfect. It is a gift, and it will come to any heart willing to open. Aisha's story is proof. Anyone can change, anytime, anywhere, because when Allah calls you back, nothing can stop it.